So looking through all the stories about the performative allies, I talked about that on a previous video or podcast, wherever you're listening or hearing the program when I'm not podcasting. I talked about the fact of how they are with the Black Lives Matter movement and the murder of George Floyd and the other support for victims like Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery. The idea is that there are people that are taking advantage, that are opportunistic in the situation, that are really hurting the plight of those that are really sincerely looking for change, systemic and institutional change, of which I can understand and appreciate, and I hope for the best. But again, it's not my fight to go after the political, social, cultural issues of that, the ramifications of that, and trying to make change of that. All I can do is the media, because that's what I care about. Because that's what needs to go ahead and be holding institutions and systems accountable. Now, one of the stories that's being brought over here is from Medium. I'm looking from a site called Gen. Our favorite stories about how to, what do they say here? How to be a true ally. And they're talking about the fight against racism. So again, this new thing is right now, it's honestly, it's virtue signaling. It's trying to create this whole thing of, well, if you're looking to be an ally, now we're trying to monetize it. We're trying to take advantage of it. So people that say they have white privilege, here's the thing. You're telling me they're not people that feel guilt and feel like they have white privilege? And you're telling me they're not people that are looking to go ahead and monetize on that particular guilt? You're telling me that people are not getting and taking advantage of that? You know there are. Just admit yourself. You know there are people doing that. The media is trying to make money off the story, and there are opportunists that are looking to make money or make something, get some kind of leverage out of this case. So this tarnishes, in some cases, all the real intent that's being put out here. And be honest, we know that's happening right now. So look at what this story right here. Amanda Sakuma writes, and she says, okay, so she gives a suggestion for things that we should feature. And so she has a couple of things. Here's one. One is a primer on commonly asked questions about the ongoing protests and how people of privilege should consider aligning their priorities. Okay. Then there's changing your community from within by holding local elected officials accountable. Great. Stop calling the cops for deeply unnecessary reasons, co-signed by all the people. I like that. The thing is, it's a matter of, you got to be sensible. Got to be common sense ideas that are going on here. Next, you have another story that's about, okay, if you're just showing up, if you're only now just showing up for the anti-racist movement, then you're already late. Right. Because if you're just joining in on this, you are bandwagoning, okay? You are being a performative ally. And I brought that up in a previous story where I talked about Vox.com, and they talked about Blackout Tuesday. And let me just take from the story one more time, because I really love what Feminista Jones, who's an activist, she said here something that was just so well said. Let me get into here. Okay, so again, she's an author, speaker, and longtime organizer, noticing the trend of the Black Lives Matter hashtag on Instagram, the Blackout Tuesday hashtag, the show must be paused. So she said this, that she was informing allies that posting empty boxes to the movement's hashtag was pushing out valuable information that organizers wanted to share, like where to protest and donate, as well as video evidence of police brutality. And then she mentioned this performative ally stuff is not helping, and this really catered to the people who want to show that they care, not actually that they care. I love that. This is not how this is not how movements work. This is not how we're supposed to be using social media, and people fell for it because it takes minimal work and minimal effort. Absolutely correct. So again, when I see stories like this talking about being allies, okay, there's a right way to be an ally of racism, to stand up against anti-racism, to stand up against, to stand for Black Lives Matter, right? So Ijeoma Oluwo, I think it is, has advice on how to mentally prepare for the grueling but necessary work of fighting racism. Time to get caught up. And then you have others that are across the board. Another person says, hashtags do not equal action. Amen. Yes. Instead of posting performative messages of support online, take an active role in the anti-racism movement in real life. Okay, great. So again, I like all this. Good stories. Again, tell the point. Another person says she's calling on her fellow white liberal teens to interrogate their intentions when they post online and resist mindlessly parroting what others have to say. Yes, speak your mind. How about not being a conformist, just following along, going along to get along? It doesn't do any good, and people are saying it's not working. Do you want this? Do you want this opportunity to actually matter? Or do you want the media to do the same bullshit they do every couple of years when this is election time and this story comes brought out, and they go ahead and they put a magnifying glass on a cruel, unusual crime that affects the black community? This is this is a hand game. It's a game that they play every 4 years, and they play it all the time as well. When they need, they're going to use it for a narrative. Happens all the time. So again, quit being a status seeker. Quit being a poser. Speak your own mind. Have your own opinion. And if you want to help, really do some help. That's the whole point. If you're going to act, don't practice what you preach. Actions speak louder than words. We always hear that cliche, more important than ever, right? Maya Bird talks about concrete steps forward for every type of person, whether you have money to spare or prefer to leverage your personal and professional skills for the greater good. Great. Yeah, if you have a chance to intern somebody, if you can give into a scholarship, if you can give into, actually do volunteer help in the neighborhoods that are struggling. If you want to give your time, give your effort, give your money, yeah, do that. If you want to do something, that's what you do. And then there's also having to talk with their children, because here's the thing. Children should be able to realize that, when they're growing up, kids are going to go into daycare, they're going to go into public schools, they're going to go into private schools, whatever. It's just the thing is, you need to be going to make sure that you don't isolate your kids. You make them ready for real life. That things are not going to always go your way, and that you need to work hard to be successful. You want to earn what you keep. You want to just be able to. You want to be successful. You want to have a career. You want to have something to do with your life, and that you need to do what you can to overcome any obstacles to get to where you need to be, where you want to be. And then somebody else also talks about showing up for racial justice calls on allies to make a commitment to organize your own, do the hard work of talking to your loved ones, and encourage them to join the movement. Okay, you can do that. But again, if they don't want to hear about it, that's another thing. You can't force it down anybody's throat. You can't do it. It can't be done. So there's more that comes to this. And keep that in mind. It's very important. So more important than anything else, performative allies are not needed in this cause. If you're really going to do something about it, again, actions speak louder than words. Don't be conformist. Don't just follow along to get along. No. If you're going to really make a change, you actually have to change what you're doing and be a part of the change. And you can't be afraid of what happens to you if you decide to make that change. And if you don't want to do it, then quit trying to say that you are. Don't act like it if you're not. You're doing more harm than good if you do.